everybody. This is false. This is false advertising. I'm alone for now, as Rifkin was not feeling so well last night after the cast and couldn't go to sleep and was tired, and he's been sick for a while, so I assume he's still asleep. He messaged me sometime in the middle of the night saying that I would probably have to solo cast until he got up, so that's at a TBA time. I don't know, maybe a couple hours, maybe never. Well, I mean, maybe never today, hopefully never. Anyway, yeah, so this is the KeSPA European Cup, your KeSPA Cup European Qualifier, there we go, and we're just about ready to get started. The bracket, I believe, is almost finalized. I mean, it should have been, but then some people are reporting late check-ins or messed up check-ins, so I don't know if they're gonna fix it for those people or not. It's a pretty big bracket, which is to be expected of a European tournament. It's also double elimination if you guys went around last night. Don't know how the format goes. It is best of 3, except for the semifinals, I believe. And the finals? It said somewhere in here, except for the following 4 matches we played in a best of 5 format. Winner's semifinal, winner's final, loser's final. Okay, so not the semifinals of the loser's bracket. Got it. Although, like, technically the loser's bracket finals is actually not. It's like kind of the semifinal. Anyways, whatever. So that might be a very long day of solo casting, which I don't necessarily mind, but I might be taking, of course, longer breaks in between games, especially if I can't find a match, because I can only entertain you guys so much, especially when there's a delay going on, as there normally is. So it looks like the brackets aren't going to be changed, so I'm just going to try and look for a game now. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So we have a lot of notable names: Bunny, Guru, Marine Lord, Fear, Sake, Laser, Wellmu, Drogo, Mana, Rainer, Snoots, Daishi, Hearthstone, DeMusliM, actually got in there, Hero Marine, Broddick, Nurchio, TLO, Euthermal, Lycanine, Bly, and Lambo, and I'm sure I missed a couple others really notable names. But it's the European bracket, and that's kind of, you know, the usual. Everyone signs up. No one is, like, you know, in school, well, most of the time anyway, and they actually can play. So it starts an hour earlier than usual for European tournaments, because this should run really late, which has been a problem in the past for a couple of different players, like Bunny, for instance, who is actually in school and would like to have a decent sleep schedule. And we'll see how that works out, because this is all going to be played today. There's no day 2 or anything like that. Before I forget, I have to pump up the music quite a bit, because I like it very low so I can hear my co-caster, but it doesn't really pick up on the stream. I should actually pick a game. Whatever game. Maybe this will be good? So if Marine Lord's around and cast Marine Lord versus Revolver, I'll get a backup just in case, though. Oh, that looks tempting. Cass versus Fear. I see Fear. I don't see Cass. Cass. Yeah, he doesn't seem to be on. Oh, that'd be very surprising if people checked in and didn't actually show up. That's usually not so much of a problem in European brackets. You know, of course it happens. Thank you to Elta77 for the 20-month resub. Woo! So, also bad news. The Twitch alerts reset for me, so I cannot go back and check what you guys write in your donation. So I have to catch them either in chat or on the actual stream of the overlay. And that might be very difficult to do if you guys donate. Oh, good news! I might actually have a co-caster. I'm gonna continue asking people if I can cast their games, though. I don't see Whelmu. Maybe he already started playing. It's possible. Actually, for a round 1, there's really not that many terrible matches. Not like the super best, but it's pretty good. Alright, so I think I actually have a game. Sweet! Alright, yeah, okay, that worked out perfectly. So, nice guy messaged me actually asking, you know, if I wanted someone to cast. Whoopsie. And it's true, I did, you know, just to make things really easy. So, it's going to be DeMusliM versus ImmortalPasT. I was actually looking at this not because I know ImmortalPasT is like a ghost or something. I actually have no idea who he is, other than he's massive on the European server, so not bad. But the winner of this will go on to face probably Hearthstone, unless he loses to some guy named Aussie or Ozzy or whatever, how you pronounce that O with the dots above it. And that is like a very old-fashioned match. Yeah, I think Hearthstone will take it, but I think that it's pretty cool to see an old-fashioned TvP like that. And, I mean, DeMusliM, like... Oh, DeMuslim's cheating, that's what up. Okay, I guess I'll go into that for the intro. So it is a best of 3 for most of the day today. Get used to best of 3s, and then we'll change it up about like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 hours in, depending on how long this takes. But in the top left, as the blue Terran, he is DeMusliM. And in the bottom right, as the red Protoss, he is ImmortalPasT. Remind everyone who wasn't around the last 2 days that Battle.net broke the little caret signs. Not the carrots, like the greater than, less than signs. So this is supposed to be his clan tag, like that, but it's not. Anyways, DeMusliM is cheesing a little bit, but cheesing is kind of a really strong word for this. A proxy Reaper against a Protoss player, it's only going to be 1, first of all. Well, I mean, it's only going to be 1 barracks, is what I mean. 1 barracks, first of all, is not necessarily that committed, and depending on how you followed up, can really be not that committed. Like, sure, you can go for the proxy factory and starport as well, if your name's Lily Kaneen, but you could also just go for 1, 2, maybe 3 Reapers, and then go back home and get like a command center. But actually, we have DeMusliM getting a 2nd barracks, which is interesting. SCV goes the long way home, probably just to be avoiding scouted by the probe. It's not a bad idea, but I do wonder what he's going to do with the 2nd racks. I mean, he could go for more Reapers. That's unorthodox, but it has happened. Or he could just be looking for a very safe follow-up as opposed to just a command center where they can send a depth across the map and risk just using the mothership core to defend against the Reapers and kill out of your, your SCVs. This is going to give you at least a few Marines, so... Oh wow, it's only 1 Reaper. This is, I mean, to be honest, I feel like it's hardly worth going for the proxy just because you do lose all that time on the barracks unless you build another barracks, which is another reason I guess he got that one. It's going to have the reactor. But that just means the 150 minerals not going into a faster command center. And do you get a lot from it? Well, so far, actually, he's going to get, what, 3 probes? No, 4 already. So that is definitely worth it. 5? Like, this Reaper is really supposed to get, I would say, 3. And then if it's followed up by a 2nd and a 3rd Reaper, maybe 5. You know, depending on how the timing of the Mothership Core was. But that Mothership Core was pretty late. The Adept only just came out, and that was actually totally worth a single Reaper being proxied. So, very nicely done for DeMusliM. And now he has a relatively safe follow-up. Again, like 2 Marines at a time is not the most, but it is better than the alternative, which is absolutely nothing, as your barracks comes back home. Then you get an Eid Way for the 20-month resub. I did have to change the sound a little bit, so let me know if the in-game sound is a little too low. I'll try and bump that up. That should be the only thing that's different. Alright, so the Reaper is still alive, which is another headache for our red Protoss here. ImmortalPasT, that's what it is. Because that means he can't do any shenanigans. Even if he can't do any shenanigans, it means that he can't... Safe is not the word, but basically even if he goes for a macro game, that's something DeMusliM will be able to scout and thus be able to feel comfortable himself. And the point is, no matter what you're doing in StarCraft 2, whether it is playing a solid straight-up game or cheesing, you don't really want it to be scouted, because that element of surprise, the element of fear in your opponents, because they don't know what's happening, is actually really worth a lot. But the Reaper once again gets out here, and I don't think the Mothership Core is overcharged a single time to be able to get this out. Usually it is, you know, it's already low, gets hit once with Photon Overcharge, or it, you know, gets hit twice and dies. It's usually pretty easy to kill that Reaper if your pylons are in good positioning, but I think that's the worst thing here. Oh, that pylon was decent, but just a little bit late, so another scout gonna go down for that Reaper. I mean, it really saw what it needed to see, a Twilight Council and a Robo, but to get extra probes, maybe? That would have been severe. It's up to 6 now. Oh my god, he's gonna get out? No. That's a Adeption kill. There you go. Okay, well, finally that Reaper died. It is Blink, not resonating glaives by having 3 Adepts, so we probably want to start building Stalkers at this point. Back into DeMusliM's side on Frozen Temple. It is just going up to the starport. He's at 3 barracks, of course, and getting his way to Stim. That Stim's gonna pair up with the Medivacs fairly well. That's something that ImmortalPasT is gonna have to be quite scared of, is the follow-up push. He took a lot of damage from that proxy. Like, 6 probes so early on is pretty bad. A couple of force fields, I guess, just to delay the push through the center of the map. Usually a couple pylons put down here as well if you really don't think that your army can take the Terran's army on, which sometimes it can, sometimes it can't. Depends on what you really went for. It's a lot of Adepts with Resonating Glaives, it probably can. If it's a lot of Stalkers, it's a little more questionable, as they do need that support once Bio has Medivac, Stim, and Combat Shields, and upgrades, which DeMusliM already has +1, and +1 armor might also be done a little ahead of ImmortalPasT +1 armor himself, so that's actually pretty bad to be entire 2 upgrades down. I guess that was the Hussein Phoenix or something like that went down, or maybe it was a Shade, not sure. Oh, it was a Shade, there you go. And that's a very scary army. He will need those force fields to delay this. He also probably needed 2 pylons, but the force fields will be good enough initially. And DeMusliM could pick everything up and then just start attacking every which way while producing back at home, you know, and then rally forward. He's the one with a lot of units here, basically. Twice the amount of army supply, pretty good, and you can start dropping and just, you know, really pulling the Protoss apart, especially because I think he saw how big the army was, you know, and it's not that fearsome. He might be assuming that the Blink Stalkers, or the Raylu Stalkers, whatever they are, we know they're Blink, maybe he doesn't, are like standing in the main or something like that, but that's really the whole army. Couple more Adepts being warped in. I mean, that's tankiness can't be underestimated, but unfortunately with only 4 Stalkers, the Blink will feel kind of like unnecessary almost. Like, it's always nice to have Blink, and it's actually a very good tool to have, right? You can chase down Medivacs, you can target Medivacs. They do a decent amount of damage if they're allowed to have something tanking in front of them. But with only 4, you wouldn't even really be able to chase down the Medivacs. Not a ton of pylons, at least not all in position with each other, so kind of awkward on the Photon Overcharge. This one could be sniped. He's not going to go for it. I mean, I'm pretty sure DeMusliM could Stim to win here, especially if he just waits for his army to be healed up, but he is dropping, I guess, first and foremost. Gets a couple of the Stalkers. First Immortal is going to get caught, maybe? Actually, might be able to take care of that, but the main army does die to DeMusliM's push. That's that. It's GG. So DeMusliM taking the first game, and not unexpected at all. Again, the reason chose this is not because it was, you know, going to be like this really epic matchup, or that it was the only one available, because it wasn't, but it was the easiest one available. But because we might be able to see DeMusliM versus Hearthstone after this, and I think that's a cool matchup. And the winner of that will face whoever wins between Hero Marine and Braddock. So that's pretty cool. How was your date yesterday? I didn't go on a date, and I'm not sure where you got that information. You haven't noticed by now the bot isn't up, so... there are no bets. Trying to see what you guys are discussing about the global qualifiers. I can't follow in time, so... Someone said they'd want it a bit higher. Hopefully that balances out. Alright, best of 3. Now on Frost. I'm not sure how they did the map choices. TBH. Map picks will be done in the following manner. For all matches, the higher seeded player must choose to act as player A or player B. Ah, okay. So, DeMusliM, I believe, was the higher seeded player. Yes, he was. So he would have chosen to go first or second in the map choices. And Vitos as well. Oh, actually, they do A, B, B, A. Well, anyways, point is, it is done by Vitos. It's not loser's choice. Okay. Let's swap this around. Put the score up. In the bottom left, as the blue Terran, up 1. He is DeMusliM. In the top right, as the red Protoss, he's ImmortalPasT for Team Extreme Supremacy. Same team that I believe the Laser's on, as well as a couple others. Not a bad team at all. Unfortunately, ImmortalPasT not really getting to show the best stuff last game. A lot of that had to do with the surprise Proxy Reaper. So even if it's not scouted, the Proxy Reaper, I think, really shouldn't deal more than 3 probes worth of damage unless they commit more Reapers to it. And that's being a little bit harsh, but that is kind of like if you were the, you know, perfect Protoss that you strive to be. I think that's the case there, and maybe even less. I've certainly seen Protosses actually take 0 damage from the Proxy Reaper, so that's always the one that's really impressive. But yeah, that wasn't scouted is not really an excuse, is what I'm kind of trying to get at, because it wasn't. I think the probe scout was a little bit later. It saw the second barracks on the way, and then it was like, oh, wait a minute. And by that time, the Reaper was already, you know, about halfway done, or even more, and our Protoss player would have already chosen his build, so he didn't really get a chance to react super well against it. But again, it's like, the micro could have been better, and I'm sure maybe the Mothership Core could have been a little bit faster, something like that, you know? Anyways, it screwed up his initial game. So he's looking up to screw up DeMusliM's initial early game here, and this is a very interesting way to do that. An early proxy robo, I mean, I guess this is going to be for a Warp Prism, right? Because I said proxy, it's really not. It's just, it's kind of hidden. There's actually not a very accurate word to describe what this robotics placement is, but he knows where his opponent is now, and unfortunately it is cross-spawn, so it's still going to take a long time for whatever he builds from that robo to get across the map. It was a robo before a Nexus, but it's also, like, there is a Nexus, you know? So it's not some type of, like, super all-in one base, which at this point I would have preferred, because DeMusliM isn't really getting a lot of scouting. The Reaper's only just moving across the map, and he didn't scout with an SCV to know where his opponent was. But now he's going to get in there, read the Reaper eventually, and scout and see a suspicious, I think, lack of tech. Like, where's your robo? Where's your Twilight Council? And start to look around. You know, I don't know if he'll ever scout this, but hey, I don't know. The Reaper doesn't go this way, does it, when it scouts this way? Oh my god, it does. Oof. I wondered about that, you know? I feel like an SCV doesn't do that, but I can't even remember right now, but a Reaper might because it can cliff jump. So that's awkward. Yeah. That's super awkward. So, the thing is, though, is that you see that, and you're not even scared. It's like, it's not like seeing a Dark Shrine about to finish, and you're like, oh shit. Or the robo that's right near your base, you know? At worst, you're gonna see, yeah, Warp Prism come in. And he's gonna see that, okay, the Reaper gets around, it kinda sucks, but he's gonna see that it was only at least 1 gate lane? That's the wrong vision. Oh, I didn't see the other gateways. Alright, so for all he knows, there could be like 5 gateways there, but... He has a lot of very key units, but not a ton of units. So I guess it was exactly said correctly. But the key units can be very good against this Warp Prism. If the Warp Prism manages to dodge all the Widow Mines and the Banshee does go across the map like it is, this could get complicated because DeMusliM really doesn't have a ton of production. It really is the Widow Mines here, the factory the reactor on it. So, a little bit awkward. Oh, I didn't even see that Widow Mine. Nice pickup from ImmortalPasT. The Banshee, however, doesn't really have a response. An Observer clearly could come out of this Robo. That's not a problem. But, oh, no, it already did. Oh, look at that. But unfortunately, the pylons still aren't in the greatest possible position, so that Banshee should probably come back and do some damage. This Banshee over here does have kind of free reign. Even if it is scouted with an Observer that is made from this Robo, it still would be like, you know, a Banshee and a couple of Widow Mines against what is only 4 units, and I think that would still win. Well, this is why you don't put your Robo out here, I guess. Oh, he actually could have moved that and gotten a pylon. Well, mistakes were made, for sure. I would say that ImmortalPasT got a lot more done than I thought he would, so kudos to him. But that was also because DeMusliM did a little bit of an unorthodox build here. Besides the Hellion opener, which is kind of like, I don't know, like 30% of the games in TvP, he also followed up with the Banshee, which is not that common. The reacted Widow Mines are like scattered around here, the naturals, so they miss out in the main, unfortunately. Oh, that was actually pretty nice. To be honest though, I think he wanted to get maybe the Adept with that one. If he can kill off the Warp Prism, oh, another Widow Mine goes off, there you go. I was gonna say, if he can kill off the Warp Prism, then that's fantastic too, right? But the Adepts also need to be taken care of as quick as possible. No Observer over here as of yet. I guess there's actually not one on the way either, despite making 2. This one over here, maybe the other one's in the main base? Yeah, that's what he did. Worried about split attacks from the Banshees, I suppose, but unfortunately, that doesn't mean like any Banshee popped out here would have gotten free damage, but it ran out of Cloak, so unable to kill that last Stalker. Good pickup on that Warp Prism. But now the production is done for DeMusliM. Although it was kind of a wonky hold with weird units, it was a hold, and now he's going to have a ton of production off of 4 barracks. He's going to have Medivacs. Might be worth going for a Viking considering how many Widow Mines there are. It's almost guaranteed. Well, I guess the Widow Mine actually would kill us now, wouldn't it? So maybe he doesn't need a Viking. But if there's a second Warp Prism made, because I don't think... Yeah, this is the tricky thing about a proxy Robo, or whatever we want to call this, Robo, is that you do need Robo production. This isn't like a Dark Shrine that can be put anywhere and still give you the benefits because you have Warp-ins. This is something that you actually need constantly producing at home in a safe location. And it's not safe location. He did get a second Robo and a Robotics Bay. Or no, that's just stalled out. Never mind. He did get a Robotics Bay. That much I know, though. That's why he's getting a Disruptor. And I guess the follow-up would have been Disruptor drops, which would have been interesting. But with all the Widow Mines around, that would have been very, very dangerous. A missile turret. Man, this Warp Prism flies with a missile for like a second, and it should just go down to the Marines. But the army pushes out. He takes the Widow Mines with him. That's pretty awkwardly timed. We'll just be able to return, you know, quick like here. The Banshee goes down to deal with this. And with Stim, that Warp Prism really has to be careful. And it is. Well done. Well, DeMusliM's Banshees have all been cleared up now. They did get some okay scouting. You know, of course, they scouted where the Robo was. They scouted the saturation, that third base actually being put down. And they've seen, I think, most of the army. DeMusliM does have a big army once again here. Up 30 army supply. Widow Mines could be pretty baller if they get the nice hits. And he brought all of them with him too, which is probably unnecessary, but it will be able to provide a lot of splash damage. Third base in the way. Disruptor was split away from. That was pretty nice. Is that both Disruptors? No. One still has the shot ready to go. It's going to use that on a single Widow Mine. Oof, that's not... probably wasn't the way to do it. Kudos to DeMusliM for splitting up his Widow Mines, though, once he realized it was Disruptors, because one Disruptor shot on, like, 5 Widow Mines is worth it. Oh, that was kind of close, but GG. And that awkward Colossus coming from the south. Super awkward Colossus. Well, that's that for ImmortalPasT. No, actually, wait a minute. There's double elimination. That's that for him in this series, but he goes down to the lower bracket, loser's bracket. Thank you to Flexible for the 4-month resub. And I think I'm gonna go to a break. Looking at matches really quickly, seeing what we might get into. Euthermal versus Lycanine would have been pretty fun. Actually, I might get into that. Hold on. Yeah, Lycanine's looking for Euthermal right now, so might just follow that. See you guys in 2 minutes, hopefully.